Good evening. This is Luke Revan, Assistant Manager here at East Brandywine Township. I'm addressing you in my capacity as online moderator for this regular session of the Board of Supervisors. Due to the coronavirus pandemic and to protect the health and safety of Township officials and our residents, the Board is conducting this meeting via webinar. This meeting is being recorded and will be rebroadcast on the Township's YouTube channel. Public notice of this meeting was posted on the Township website consistent with Act 15 of 2020. The agenda for this meeting is also posted on the website at ebrandywine.org/agenda center and is visible on your screen. Board members Jason Winters and Kyle Scribner, as well as myself, are physically present in the Township building. Vice Chairman George Sherbach is unable to join us due to health reasons. Township Solicitor Mark Jonas and other members of the Township staff are joining us remotely. Members of the public can hear us, but your own phones and computer microphones are muted, so we cannot hear you. To enable an organized meeting, we're using the following procedure. As with in-person meetings, I ask that all participants wait to be recognized by Chairman Winters before speaking, and that all comments be directed to the chairman. To be recognized, you must first ask me, in my capacity as moderator for this webinar, to unmute your audio connection. You may request this at any time via the chat feature, which is located on the left side of your screen. Each person recognized by the chairman should state their name and address before asking a question. I will now turn the meeting over to Chairman Winters.
Good evening. Welcome to East Brandywine's regular session, December 17th, 2020. Let's start on with public comment on agenda items.
Just a reminder to all the members of the public. All right, I do have Planning Commission Chairman Bruce Rawlings is asked to be recognized. Please stand by, Bruce.
Thought he wanted to speak on non-agenda items.
Oh, is that what his text stated?
Thought so.
Okay, yeah, I stand corrected. He does want to speak later in the meeting. I have no further parties expressing interest in addressing the board or agenda items.
Okay, let's move on then to the approval of the previous meetings of the Board of Supervisors. So the minutes of November 5th, 2020, as well as minutes of November 17th special budget workshop. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of November 5th, 2020 and the minutes of November 17th, 2020 special workshop budget.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on with the treasurer's report and authorization to pay the bills. Yep. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I make a motion to submit the bills as presented.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I have just a point of order on agenda item number 5. Items 5D and E have stars next to them because the individuals who submitted those reports have asked to direct the board. So if there's a motion to adopt these reports as a consent agenda item, please bear in mind that the police chief and the fire department have asked for opportunity to speak.
Noted. Thank you. The Planning Commission November 4th meeting minutes, the Budget Inspector's report, the Roadmaster's report. I do have a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the planning commission minutes, the building inspector's report, and the roadmaster's report as submitted.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moved on to the East Brandywine Police Department's report. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment, since this is the last report for the year, and touch on a couple things that's within our report tonight. First, I just wanted to thank the residents, the public, everyone else that participated in the Toys for Tots campaign that we did this year. We had an amazing turnout. If you have access to our Facebook page, we have photos on our Facebook page. We collected in excess of 500 toys this year. It overwhelmed us a little bit, but we weren't complaining. And I just wanted everyone to know how much we appreciated the outpouring and support and love for the kids. And I'm sure we're making a big dent in the pile that they want to give out this year. Piggybacking off of that, we decided that we were aware the Lord's Pantry in Downingtown is, short of food for the holidays. So we decided that we're going to open up our lobby and collect food for the next 2 weeks. So if anyone is out there that would like to donate some canned goods, non-perishables, they were asking specifically for hygiene products for people. We will be collecting that stuff, and then we will make sure it gets down to them in the next 2 weeks. We also have information on our Facebook page about that. As you know, the COVID pandemic shut us down for public meetings this past year, and I didn't want to let the year go by without recognizing some officers for jobs that they have done this year, which were, we consider to be over and beyond. And I'm not going to read out all the accommodations. I'm just going to highlight them real quick. Lieutenant Jeff Yankanich, Sergeant Jim Ferraro, Officer Kyle Harnish, and Officer Klinger. They're receiving a unit accommodation for a shooting at a barricaded domestic situation we had on Lambeth Court earlier in the year. Their actions at the scene not only helped in extricating the injured mother, but we also got the 2 kids out of the house, and then the officers were able to communicate with the suspect and get him out of the house before the SWAT team actually had a chance to set up. And they did a heck of a job and kept everyone in the neighborhood safe, and we just wanted to recognize them for that. Officer Maureen Ray is receiving a merit accommodation. She was requested by West Brandywine Police to back them up on a vehicle stop that had a female in the back seat. While Maureen had her out, he had her hands up on the roof of the car, and she kept reaching down to her waist area, and Maureen kept, giving her orders to comply with what she was telling her to do. And the woman suddenly reached for a handgun. Maureen quickly recognized what was going on, took steps to get control over the suspect, and she's being commended for saving and keeping safe herself, the other 2 West Brandywine officers, and even the other civilians that were involved in the vehicle stop. The fire chief mentioned earlier in the year we had the fire down at the house on Horseshoe Pike. So we want to commend Mike Triola for his actions at that scene, for helping to pull the victim out of the basement window and get him pulled across the property to safety. And then the final one is Officer Tanner Smith and Officer Mike Triola responded to a residence, found a victim that was unresponsive, and they performed CPR and used the AED on the victim to bring the victim back. And we were notified by the hospital later on that they had actually saved his life. So that's just a few. We do have others in the department, but I just wanted the board to know that, throughout this entire COVID thing, the officers have done a fantastic job. They've we went this entire year, knock on wood, without having one of our officers get sick in the line of duty from COVID, and they've all persevered with all of my rules and regulations, and wear the mask in the station, and so they've done a really, really good job, and they all should be commended for everything they've done this year. I also wanted to bring to your attention that these sweet beards that we have, they'll be going away here in about 2 weeks. We were doing the campaign from October, November, December, and the Blue Beards for Charity organization raised over $50,000 for 4 nonprofits in the county, and we donated $2,600 to that total. So again, thank you to the officers. It's a huge thing that we really like doing every year, other than just growing beards. But I think they're sweet. I'd like to keep them if the board will allow us. But so we'll be doing that again next year. And then we just wanted to say from the police department, happy holidays to everyone. Please stay safe. We hope everyone made it okay through the snowstorm yesterday, and we hope that you, the board, the staff at East Brandywine, the fire company, that you all stay safe and have a great holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
East Brandywine Fire Company, Fire Marshal Edwards.
Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening. First, I wanted to thank the Township road crews for keeping East Brandywine Fire Company plowed out yesterday. It was the first time that we had to utilize the service this year. It's saving us quite a bit of money by not having to contract out for service and having the Township plow, and it was well maintained, and we appreciate it. Secondly, I wanted to bring to the supervisor's attention that the fire station was manned for the entire snowstorm with a crew of 8 responding to calls at a moment's notice. I'd like to give the report from the firehouse. For November, we had 38 incidents, 25 fire, 13 medical. 13 of the fire calls were in East Brandywine Township. 12 of the medical calls were in East Brandywine Township. We used 102 gallons of East Brandywine Township fuel. As the police chief indicated, we're having challenges with COVID. We're still trying to maintain our training. The numbers are a little down. We had an average of 15 personnel at the trainings, and we had 3 training sessions. We've since had to suspend the training since no more than 10 people are allowed to gather, and we wanted to maintain the crews of the fire station. Also, I wanted to bring up the fact that the firehouse is trying to maintain everything for the holiday time. However, with the COVID, it is quite challenging. Tonight, the supervisors need to be aware that I have discussed it with you guys a couple times, but I'm now in receipt of the letter from Tower Health that we were looking for in regards to EMS coverage for 2021. Remember, Jason and Kyle, I had talked to you that they were putting a MICU in service right at the hospital, which would be available to East Brandywine Township 24/7, and that would cut down considerably on distance for the backside of East Brandywine that's currently covered by the other service, 144. I'll leave this letter with you guys because at the recommendation of the fire chief and myself to the Township Board of Supervisors, when we do the resolution at the first meeting next year, it should indicate that Tower Health MICU 93 will provide the primary service to the box that the fire chief and I have looked at that is currently covered by the 144 ambulance, either coming out of Glenmore or Wagontown. You can imagine that as soon as they come out of the back of Brandywine Hospital, they're in East Brandywine Township there providing a service. I believe that Fred Worster, who is now the director of that, may be on the meeting. Luke, can you see that?
I do see him present in the meeting. Would you like?
If you could unmute him so he could just say a word or two about that to the supervisors to reiterate what I'm saying.
Actually, I cannot promote him. Unfortunately, it appears he's joining from a device like an iPad or a tablet or something. I cannot promote.
Okay, he just wanted to give you guys a quick overview, which I have already discussed with you guys about, that they're going to be a fully competent. In fact, one of the nice things is 2 of the EMTs from East Brandywine have actually been hired by Tower Health, which is even more of an advantage because they know the district and know how we operate. That will be for your guys to enact at the resolution period, if I'm not correct. Correct, Luke?
That is traditional. I can tell you, I have not worked on a resolution to that effect. I mean, yes, typically early in January, the service providers are established by the
Yeah.
board.
But
At the-
you don't have to do anything with it tonight, is what I'm saying. I just wanted to let you know that they are up and running. They are now providing service, and based on the recommendation of the fire chief and myself, that would be the way to go for us to provide the quickest service in 2021.
Yeah, and we did see Fred's text message. Don't worry about not being able to participate from your phone, Fred. We'll rely on Joe and his brother at this for this juncture till next year.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Manfred. That's all I have for East Brandywine Fire Company. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a motion to approve the police and the fire company's reports?
Yep, I make a motion to approve the November 20th police and fire company reports.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving on to old business, the police contracts. The board has had time to review the contracts with the police union, as well as lieutenant, as well as the chief, and we're had time to negotiate that and to where we think that's acceptable, fair contracts for the years ahead. So we'll see if we have a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the police chief's contract, the lieutenant's contract, and the police union contract representing all the officers.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the appointment of township secretary. Luke?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure to recommend that the board appoint current township employee, administrative assistant Lisa Taraski, as the township secretary, effective immediately.
I'll make a motion to appoint Lisa Tarashi as the township secretary effective immediately.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I do want to say that we were trying to, the board's intention was to have the full board take action on this. But unfortunately with George, we're under a time restraint, so we had to move forward. So I just want the public to know, be aware of that. Then we'll move on to new business. The time of day for the reorg meeting, January 4th. Luke?
Right. The second-class township code describes the reorganization meeting that each second-class township does early in each new year. And it specifies that outside of a holiday, the first meeting is to be the first Monday of the year. You do have discretion on what time of day you'd like to have the meeting. And furthermore, there's a question as to whether you want to have the reorganization meeting and in the same week, your work session. Staff is inquiring at this point because we have a deliverable before Christmas, which is an advertisement in the Daily Local describing all the meetings for 2021. So that's two questions. What time would you like to have a reorganization meeting, and would you like to have a work session as well?
I think it only makes sense to do both at the same time. We're going to be doing one shortly thereafter anyway.
I agree.
All right, so you're okay with the 4th?
Well, unfortunately, the 4th is an optional. The question is, do you want to have it at 6:30 p.m. or 8 a.m.?
Well, traditionally, we've always done the meetings in the morning for the reorg.
Yeah, I'm okay with the morning meeting.
And you want to do the January? You want to do the township board of supervisor meeting on the 4th at after that, I guess.
Yeah, is that something that Luke, the staff would prefer? Correct.
Right. Well, we won't bang a gavel and end the reorganization meeting, and then bang a gavel and begin the work session, it will be the same advertised meeting of the Board of Supervisors. Any action items, such as adoption of the emergency service provider resolution, will just be at the end of that agenda.
Okay.
All right, so I don't know if we need a motion on that, but
Yeah, I don't think we do. I think we just,
I guess it's nice just to have clarity on it.
yeah.
So just for the record, one more time, the Board of Supervisors work session will follow the January 4th, 2021 reorganizational meeting that will be immediately thereafter the meeting that starts at 8 a.m.
We will run that ad. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next subject is the 2021 risk management carrier. Luke?
Yes. Our risk management professional is Francis Hall, and Francis Hall, as part of their routine due diligence, gets quotes for our liability insurance and our property insurance, and has received quotes for 2021. They quoted our incumbent carrier, which is Travelers, and they quoted a challenger, which is Zurich. And I'm pleased to report that Francis Hall has found us significant savings in an apples to apples comparison of commercial liability. And the savings is approximately $20,000. And at this time, I would recommend that the board authorize staff to use Zurich as our insurance provider for the fiscal year 2021.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve all insurance to use Zurich Insurance for our insurance for the remainder of what time period? 2020, starting 2022?
Well, it would start January 1, 2021, and it's important in the motion that the Zurich will not be the provider of all of our insurance. We will still use AmTrust, who is the only provider we were able to get a quote from for our workers' compensation. So the particular packages we're talking about here are the municipal liability and property and auto insurances.
All right, so Zurich, we would use Zurich Insurance through Hall Insurance for our municipal liability, property, and auto.
Correct.
Okay.
That is my proposal. That is it is up to the two of you to make that decision.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. As long as it's looking fine. Savings.
All right, so then I'll go ahead and make that the motion then for using Hall Insurance to relay through Zurich Insurance for our municipal liability, our property, and our auto insurance for the 2021 year.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on, we have no subdivision and zoning applications. Go on to ordinances and resolutions for consideration. Resolution 19 of 2020, adopting the budget for East Brandywine Township for the fiscal year 2021.
Okay. So every time we talk about the budget, I've got to rewind to the entire process. The township has a budget committee that began meeting in August of this year, and their hard work culminated in a preliminary budget presented to the Board of Supervisors at your November regular session. And at your December work session, there was a fund transfer and a resolution establishing the millage and the trash and recycling fees. And now today is a resolution adopting the budget for 2021. So this draft is unchanged from what was presented to this board at the November work session. I'm sorry, the November regular session.
Okay. And I have no comments on it.
Nor do I.
I'm sorry. I did have a brief conversation with Budget Chairman Ken Ader today on the vote here, and the gist of our conversation is this budget accurately reflects our anticipated. Basically, it represents a projection of expenditures and revenues based on the current situation at the township. There are a number of potentially significant changes that may need to be made in the second quarter of 2021, depending on hiring decisions that are made in the coming year. So the proposal from the Budget Committee is to get a much earlier start in 2021 and consider recommending to the board an amended budget that reflects any decisions that the board makes in between now and then.
I think it's an excellent idea. Kyle?
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 19 of 2020, adopting the budget for the East Brandywine Township for the fiscal year 2021.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Permission to advertise the general obligation bond series 2021. Mr. Wolf and Mr. Van Blanc. How you doing?
Very well. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Tonight we're going to seek your permission to advertise for your next meeting, regular meeting in January, parameters debt ordinance to refinance two bond issues. I believe you received a copy of the ordinance in draft form in your packets. I hear a lot of echo. Is the sound quality all right?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me or for your bond counsel, Hank, who's online, about the ordinance that would be advertised and voted on next month?
I don't. Jason, do you?
No, I don't.
All right. I know you don't do this very often, but we're going to try and make it as straightforward and understandable as possible. Luke's been very helpful to me, including today. We're getting a book ready to go up to Moody's, and in a couple of weeks we'll have an interview with them to reevaluate the township's bond rating. At this point in time, we don't see any reason to expect it to change. It's been reviewed every year, and it was reviewed within the last year. So we think we know where we stand, and we're planning accordingly.
Anything else, Luke?
No, this is just seeking the board's permission to run the advertisement so that you can consider adopting this resolution in your January regular session, the 21st of January.
You're good, Jason?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right, so I'll make permission. I'll make a motion to seek to advertise the bond issue series of 2021.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, Mr. Wolf.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Have a good holiday. Move on to public comment on non-agenda items. I believe Bruce does have some comments. We can start off with Bruce.
Thank you, Jason. First of all, I'd like to thank Matt Van Loo and his crew for a great job of cleaning up all the township roads. Driving around today, our roads look better than PennDOT or private roads. So thank you, Matt and crew. At your work session next year, I'd like to make sure we are scheduled to talk about the Ordinance Task Force. We used to have Scott as the spearhead of that committee. He was in charge of it with David Sweet. I would only basically manage the meetings, so we need to establish who's going to be in charge of getting the information together and things like that, and how the board would like to see that progress. it's important to keep moving on that because we need to get working on the comp plan and the official map. We're already going to be behind schedule. So it's if we can have a discussion on that and the board is ready to talk about it, that would be great. Next is the Planning Commission. We are losing 2 members to the end of their term. We would like to reappoint Jim Buxalis to the board and have Jim Buxalis removed from the board for lack of attendance or communication. There's probably 8 meetings he did not attend or communicate with. So we would like the supervisors to look at that. I have gotten one person who would like to come aboard. They filled out an application and submitted it to the township, and I think Luke and Lisa both have copies of that. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but if there's anybody else that would like to join the Planning Commission, that would be great. Next, we did have a traffic impact meeting, and Luke is working on trying to get that moving forward, but we are lacking members, and he's going to be asking you to advertise for members for the traffic impact. Right now, I am acting temporary chair. I don't want to be chair, but I'm there to keep the thing moving forward because I'm kind of been squawking about it for all through the last couple of years, and nothing was getting done. So it's important that we move forward. And I would like to have that on the agenda for the work session also in January. The last question is, what is the process of our hiring a new township manager? I know Luke is considered the assistant manager. I don't know if he's going to be appointed as the manager or what's going on. And I think the township would like to know where we are with that and what's the next step. So if you can enlighten us today, that would be great. If you can't, we'll wait till next year. But Kyle or Jason, can you help us with that?
Actually, Bruce, I was not part of that decision. I found out the same as everybody else did. I was advised by our new solicitor that I'm trying to use the exact quote that was used to me. It was something along the lines of the majority of the board has spoken. Stop being, interceding. So to answer your question, I was not part of that decision. I think there's a lot of legal questions to that I'm very concerned with. So I would have to have you direct your questions on that to our solicitor and our chairman.
Well, I think, Bruce, we're going to obviously Luke's our interim manager when the manager is no longer available, which he'll continue till the end of the year. And then the board will consider appointment of a new township manager at next year's reorg meeting.
Have we posted or put out an advertisement for needing of a township manager and asking for job descriptions and see if anybody else would be interested in that position? I know Luke would do a great job, but I don't know if you are looking at for anybody else at this point.
I think that's something that would be discussed at the January 4th reorg meeting.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand. So right now, I need any communication I need to do is go through Luke at this point.
Yes.
Okay. Those are my thoughts and questions. I hope everybody has a great holiday season, and I'll talk to you next year. Thank you very much for allowing me to attend your meeting.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Have a good holiday. We'll see you next year.
Thank you, Bruce.
Luke, anyone else?
No.
So if I may have a minute or two to spearhead off of what Mr. Rawlings was just speaking of, the fact that I wasn't aware of what was going on. I would like, we had discussed at the last meeting, the chairman and I had discussed at the last meeting that, and I'm paraphrasing here, Jason, but you had said something along the lines, there was no communications that were out there that I wasn't part of, and you didn't have a problem with me being part of any of these and any of the decisions. So I had asked our solicitor for emails and correspondence from October 1st until present day. So you don't have a problem with that then? He had said I needed the majority of the board's approval for that.
For what? I don't understand. For a right to know request?
No, not for a right to know request. You had said at the last meeting that there was no correspondences that I wasn't included in. So my question was that I had asked the solicitor from any and all communications from the board, not including me, to be secured and given to me through from October 1st until present day. And you had said there was no communications. He said I needed the majority of the board's approval to get that. So that's what I'm asking for.
I have no problem.
Okay. So Mr. Jonas, there's your majority of the board. I had asked for this going on 3-4 weeks ago, so I'm not going to berate you on this communication, but I would like by close of business tomorrow, all correspondence, as I stated in my email towards you, forwarded to my email as of close of business tomorrow. The only other thing I wanted to comment on is that the end of the year here, what a fantastic township we have, our police, our fire, our road crew, staff, everybody. We've dealt with a lot of downfalls this year, and everybody has given 110%. So I just wanted to thank everybody, who's helped, including our residents who've helped keep us afloat, and some other townships have had it much, much worse than us, and we've came through this really, really well. So I just wanted to thank everybody in the township.
Jason?
Yes, I think so too. And also I wanted to
Jason?
Yeah.
Kyle, I'd like to know, is it your intention to, I'm not exactly clear what emails you're looking for, but is it your intention to share those with anyone outside of the township?
First of all, Mr. Jonas,
I'd like an answer to that. I'd like an answer to that. Is it your intention to share confidential emails?
Mr. Jonas, first of all, I don't take my directions from you, first of all. Second of all, if you're insinuating that I've shared anything that have been given me, then that very much concerns me, that you as our solicitor are trying to sidestep me as a township supervisor with information that you believe would be shared with other parties. So that says a lot to me. That concerns me that you have that much authority over our township, and you should not, sir. So
what it says to me is that you won't answer the question, and I'm going to ask you again. I just answered your
question. I've never shared anything.
Jason, unless there's a representation by Mr. Scribner that he will not turn over confidential communications to third parties outside of the township, then my suggestion is that these documents, emails, and I'm not even clear what he's looking for, not be turned over to him.
Excuse me, Mr. Jonas. I'm a township supervisor, one of 3. You have been asked to do something from the majority of the board, plain and simple. If you're making insinuations that I'm doing anything illegal, first of all, then shame on you. Second of all, you as our township solicitor have been instructed to do something from the majority of the board. Please do it by business end tomorrow.
Well, I'd like to say though, we can discuss this, in executive session, but I don't expect anything to be handed over by closed business tomorrow. I think that
we've already gone through the executive session, and I've gotten turned down by solicitor there as well. So he won't answer my questions in email.
Documents, Kyle, but I'm saying it's not going to be by a close of business tomorrow.
Okay, well then I'll be realistic. Let's do close of business Monday then. That gives them.
I think it's to what's convenient time that Mark has availability to do it. I think when
I've asked Mark about this for going on 4 weeks now. So if he hasn't found the time to do it,
if you need approval, you just can proceed it tonight. So there's no. I'm saying that as long as he wants to provide it, then a reasonable amount of time is acceptable. Doesn't have to give him
Mr. Jonas, what kind of a time frame would that be?
I'm suggesting that there be an executive session so I have exactly an understanding of what you're looking for, and
Any
that I have
and all
and that
correspondence
you
with
need-
the Board of
you need to let-
Supervisors.
Excuse me, come on, let him
Kyle,
talk.
you need to let me finish. I am suggesting an executive session so that I understand, one, what exactly Kyle's looking for, and two, that he confirm that it is not his intention to turn these over to anyone outside.
Mr. Jonas, what are you referring
think
to? Turning
I think that's
anything
fine.
over to anybody?
Excuse me, I think that's an acceptable suggestion. I think that's what we'll do then. So we're going to leave it at that. We're going to move on.
No, I'm going to answer the question first of all. Mr. Jonas, what are you
Mr. Jonas, I just don't. I'm instructing our solicitor to not respond anymore. We've answered that.
Here we go again. Right back to the executive session that Mr. Jonas won't answer. In an executive session, Mr. Jonas doesn't answer it in an email form. Mr. Jonas doesn't answer it on the record in a township public meeting. So you tell me.
In place, and I think what you're doing here is just is more embarrassing than it is, getting what you want. I think you asked a question, you're going to get it. We're going to have.
So you're saying on record that it's embarrassing for someone like a township supervisor, one of three, to ask to be included in dialogue between three supervisors. So it's not really a board of three, it's a board of two when it goes the route that our solicitor is choosing to serve.
I would have to disagree with that. And I think that.
So then right here on the record, we just said you have no problem with me being included in all correspondence between the board of supervisors. And right now it's 50-50. You don't have a third supervisor right now. So there you go, Mr. Jonas. There's your answer.
I think that means that he doesn't have anything. We're going to have a talk about it.
He has a 50%.
Kyle,
vote.
I'm telling you right now, we're moving on. We're moving on.
So Mr. Jonas, again, on record, it was already asked, it was already answered, and a 50% of board members right here, right now, I would like that by Monday morning. Thank you.
By Mr. Jonas, that's ridiculous. We're going to have executive session. We'll discuss it from there. So
No.
I'm about tired of this subject. So any other comments? Anyone?
There were no parties that asked me to unmute their phones for public comment on non-agenda items. We do need to make the announcement regarding the previous executive session pursuant to the Sunshine Law.
Okay. So the Board of Supervisors met in executive session on December 10th at 1:30 p.m. for the purpose of discussing personnel, legal, and arbitration matters. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening and stay safe and have a good holiday.